Good morning, and here we are again on Friday, October the 10th of 2025. Well, you will believe that it is 52 degrees here in my old Kentucky home. It's unbelievable. So I had to make a little trip back into someone's closet to see if I could find something warm to put on today. Now, I've just borrowed this. This was from a trip to New York City last year when my girl went on her senior class trip. And I know she will just be thrilled that I would be wearing this. So when she comes home this afternoon, I'll tell you what she says. Listen, I have this big fear. I'm afraid this is going to turn into a cooking show because I keep wanting to show my cooking skills. But now, the other day, I was pretty sure of what I was doing. Today, not so sure, but we're going to give a try to another breakfast. And I'm telling you what, it could be hit or miss. So let's get this other stuff out of the way, and then we're going to make some French toast in the air fryer. Hey, anything can happen. Anything. And I forgot to get the bread out, but that's okay. But first of all, let's just run over a few little things that I had written down that I wanted to remind you of, or to tell you. Today I pray that God's will be done in my life and in the lives of those I love. And there's a lot of you out there. So today I pray that God's will be done in my life and in the lives of those I love. This morning in my little upper room, it was so, I read like out of all these little books every morning, and then I've got two more I didn't bring in here. Hey, by the way, Phyllis said that these God's Promises books, and I don't even know where she lives, but they are at Hobby Lobby and they're on sale. So if you live, of course I don't, close to a Hobby Lobby, you might check that out. Now, I bought one of these, and then one of my friends gave me one of them. So you might want to check that out. But it was so funny this morning. Well, I was reading this in my upper room. You know me in the upper room. And it says that God offers us a dependable and quiet refuge. What is that refuge? It's a safe place. It's like little birds in their nest when they know Mama's going to take care of them. God offers us a dependable and quiet refuge in a fast-changing and confusing world. Moving closer to God brings peace. That's what I always want, is just some peace. And the prayer for today is, Dear God, when we feel out of control, remind us to put you at the center of our lives. Help us to focus on you, our refuge, always. Amen. Then, whenever I was looking in one of my little Thanksgiving and praise today, one of the verses was Psalms 91:2, which said, I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. And I thought both of those are talking about refuge, and I think that's what I need right now. So hopefully that will be a comfort to you today. You can look that up, and God is our refuge. Then we've got a couple of prayer requests. I think, let me look here. Patty's husband, still need to be remembering him. And Helen Can't Imagine. If you've not watched Helen, I've followed her since I have started on YouTube back in February. She's got a place on her head that she's going to the doctor on October the 23rd. Let's remember her in prayer, that will be okay. two or three more things I need to run by. Someone asked me about the song Wasted Years, and I've looked, and it is not public domain, so I can't play that on my channel. There's just so, the majority of songs are not public domain, so you can't use them. But I'm glad y'all enjoyed that last little song. I think I found one more on that CD that I might be able to play, so we'll do that another time. Oh, I've made some new snack bags for this week. Got to show them to you. This one right here, I'm getting desperate because I don't have decorators. This one says you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And that was a quote from Zig Ziglar. If you've never heard of Zig, years ago, many, many moons in another life, I feel like, I went to a conference that he was one of the speakers, very, very motivational. And I found that quote and I thought, that's good for those girls. They need to think about that. And then here's just some of my talents of cutting out some paper dolls and paper hearts. And there's just a little doodad on there. And here's the other one. It doesn't matter who gets what. This one says, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. So many times down through life, like if I wanted to be a ballerina, since I didn't get to be one, I will push my child to be a ballerina or whatever, a basketball player. That sometimes we try to push people, our kids, to be what we would have liked to have been, and that's not right. It's just like my girl. I've told her, I just want her, you've always heard if you find a job that you really love, it's like you're not working. I never have found that job except YouTube, but it don't pay too good. Hey, today they're going to get some M&Ms, and they're going to get some vanilla wafers, and they're going to get, the roommate loves these little suckers. And then they're going to get 2 little things of Post-it notes. You always need Post-it notes. I even use them very often. And these, have you ever had any of these? They're little gummies. They look like Lifesavers, but they're soft. Kids love them. And then their little big surprise this week is a little sheep. Isn't that cute? Bah. Tractor Supply. So that's what they're getting this week. I decided not to put the little cheese crackers. They've got one more bag, but I'll wait and put them in there maybe next week. Give them a little break from that. Okay. Then one other thing I wanted to tell you, and then we're going to cook. Can you believe it? All right. My husband had to go. It's about 35 miles to the orthopedic doctor on Wednesday. And we had to ride a shuttle. Now let's remember that he has fractured his hip, had surgery, was in 2 different hospitals, now is in the nursing home for rehab. And he's not, he sits up in bed and all that, but he doesn't walk around. He doesn't walk around, but he's in rehab. So he had to go in a wheelchair. Well, he is 6'1", and I don't really think of that as being very tall, I guess, because I've been so used to being around him. But anytime we're at a doctor's office or a hospital or anything, they're always saying how tall he is. He's got very long legs. So you don't just, these wheelchairs are not made for tall people. They're made mainly for short people. So they said they was going to measure him and they were going to get the wheelchair and everything's hunky-dory. He's not used to a comfortable wheelchair, so that's nothing new. But this one was a nice wheelchair, but it's just not tall enough. So we get him outside in this little van and push him up in the back. They lock him up, honey, like he's going to prison. It reminds me of those prisoners that, you know, have those chains between their feet and then got their handcuffs on. That's about the way he looked, according to that wheelchair. There's no way he could escape. We had a nice, peaceful ride up there, and went on a 4-lane parkway, so the roads were pretty smooth. I had to sit in a seat in front of him, but I'd keep turning around saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And he said, yeah, he was okay. We got up there, got him out of the van. As we got out of the van, his appointment was at 1. The driver says, when you get done, whatever time you get done, we've got to wait till 3 o'clock and pick up 3 other people here in this town that are at different places and take them back to our hometown. I thought, what? You mean we're going to be waiting? This man, this old man, sitting in this uncomfortable wheelchair? But we would deal with that when the time came. Got into the doctor's office. I had to fill out 10,000 papers. He was sitting there in that wheelchair with his head hanging down. Well, see, he's lost so much weight, poor little fella. He don't have any meat on his bones. So sitting in that wheelchair was putting so much pressure on his hips, especially that left side, which he has trouble even before he fell. It was killing him because it's probably just the bone against the skin. Well, I was kind of getting in a fizzle because I knew this was not going to be good. And I didn't feel good about going in the first place. But he had to go and there was, I think, 32 staples in his leg and to have a follow-up. So he was sitting there and we were waiting and we were, you got to wait forever. We were there 30 minutes waiting. And I said, do you want me, his head was just hanging down. He was just holding it. I said, do you want me to see if they've got a room back there where you can go lay down? And he said, yes. So I went and asked. So after flipping around here 2 or 3, it took a little while. We got him back there, got in this room with a bed that was way up off the ground. There's no way he could have got on that. And it was a little thin, hard, doctor's thing. I bet you it was 30 degrees in that room. I'm telling you, they could have killed meat. They could have killed hogs and hung the meat up in there. I thought, I could not believe it. He had on a long sleeve shirt, a jacket, a blanket, and was shaking. And I just about was shaking myself. Not a good experience, but we got through it. They said his leg was healing very nicely. So then we got back out in the waiting area. Now this, I'm skipping some stuff. You don't need to know every detail. And thank goodness our little shuttle driver was out there. So I just wheeled him right out there and we got him loaded up. Then we had to go pick up these other people. Well, the first place we went, these are adult daycare centers. Now we used to have one in our county. I don't know what happened to it. But it's for people that are mentally challenged and probably in school. They were in special classes all through school. Doesn't mean that they're not, they're pretty independent. They can do a lot of stuff themselves. But the first 2 we picked up, the road, we had to go way a little bit out of town from where we came in. Picked up these 2 girls. They were about 21 years old each. But the driveway getting to the place where they were was so rough, and I would look back at my husband and he was just cringing from the pain. Of course, he is locked in that wheelchair. He wasn't going nowhere. Got in there and picked those 2 girls up. Of course, I could always make conversation with whoever. So one of them just was real soiled up. She got up there in her seat and put her hood over her head and didn't want to talk to nobody. The other one, me and her were like this. I know what kind of dog she's got, what kind of ice cream she likes. We chatted all the way back home. It's every once in a while I would say, you know, oh, he's hurt, you know, he's hurting, it's hurting his bottom sitting in that thing. And she'd say, that's not good. That's not good. Sweet as could be. That little girl was so sweet. I entertained her, I think, pretty well on the way home. Then we had to go in the opposite direction and pick up this guy that was probably in his 30s, and he lives with a family, is what the bus driver said. So then we ended up, instead of coming back on the smooth parkway, we had to come back by the old road, which is 2-lane and bumps, and oh, I would look back there at him, at my husband, and I felt so sorry for him. I just thought, Lord, if you'll let us get back, I'm not bringing him again in this van. I told him, I said, I think you could ride in my car. And so he has an appointment in 4 weeks. And Lord willing, I'm going to take him in my car. And we'll go up there and we'll come back and not have to pick up nobody, I hope. Well, when we got back and we had to, on this 2-lane road, you know, this young guy, he lived in that area. So it was a little narrow road, bumpy hills, curves and all this. We got him unloaded. I mean, my husband was just, he said, do you think you could ask that driver to take us back first? Well, see, we were the furthest away, so I knew that he wasn't going to do that. So then we got rid of the guy. We had to get rid of these 2 girls. Honey, they lived on a little narrow gravel road. Now, you know what it's like driving on a gravel road just normally. I never thought I'd see anybody being glad to get back to the nursing home, but that man couldn't wait to get back in the bed. So we sure had an experience that day. The first time he had been out, you know, since he had fell. And I'm going to read this little joke because we're going to cook. Hey, some of you are just, I think you think I'm really something because of the way I cooked that meal the other day in the air fryer. Well, just wait till today. And I'm just hoping it'll turn out, because if it don't, so be it. Hey, if it don't turn out, I won't be a bit surprised, but we're going to try it. Listen to this. A man goes to the doctor. The doctor says, I have good news and bad news. The man says, give me the good news first. Okay, said the doctor. You have 24 hours to live. The man shoots back, that's horrible. What could be worse than that? The doctor said, I was supposed to call you yesterday. Oh, my. All right. Got a little squeak in that cabinet. We are making French toast, guys, today. This is going to be fun. Okay, let me see if I can get my thing down here. Yeah, you can see the air fryer right there. I'm going to get 2 pieces of bread, and I'm going to throw them in here, and we are going to just toast them a little bit, because it says you cannot use fresh bread, and you know I always like to go by the directions. So it's what we have here is 1 egg. I'll have to move this down a little bit so you can see the egg. How about that? There's the egg, and we're going to put just a little milk in it. Just whatever we feel like we need to. And I'm going to take a fork and I'm going to beat that up. Now, Grandma Lois said she had never seen anybody beat an egg up as much as I do, but you know, that's just the way you're supposed to do it. Now, I'm going to put just a little smidgen of vanilla in this. You don't have to do this. I normally wouldn't even do this, but I'm just doing it to try to impress you. Then you can also put some cinnamon, but I'm not going to put that in there because it does not settle with my stomach very well. And I don't need that beginning right here at the beginning of the day. Then we're just going to mix that up a little bit. I forgot to set me out a new stick of butter yesterday, so now I've got a cold, hard stick here. But I did melt me just a little bit. Let's see what that's done. Oh, I think that's good enough. I'm going to take this big sharp, it's not sharp. I'm going to take this big knife and I'm going to cut this bread. My camera skills are, I'm going to get to where I am competing with some of the cooking shows, which is a little scary. I think I'll just cut it in 3 pieces. That one right there is not very crunchy, but we'll just do it anyway because we don't have a lot of time to spend here. Here we go. Now, here's where I'm not sure exactly what to do, but I think it's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take that tray out. I'm going to pour a little of this melted butter in here. And then I am going to warm this. I'm going to do air fryer. I need to change the temperature to 350. It said do it to 350, but you need to preheat that, and I've never done that before. That's going to be a little new thing right there for me. All right, let's see here. I am going to just dip that in there. Look at that. That's preheated enough, I'd say. I've got a little butter in there, and I'm going to lay my thing in there. I'm going to turn this. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I mean, you all are going to just be so impressed with my cooking skills that you won't know what to do. You'll say, what's Debbie cooking today? And it might be nothing. I think I'm going to try to squeeze these other 2 in there. Because, see, my air fryer is not very big. So, we will just do these like this. And now we're going to just pop them back in there. And let me see what the temperature is. Wait, stop. 350 is what I wanted. Now go. Oh gosh, I don't know what that means. I think it's preheating, but I don't know. Well, we'll just let it do whatever it wants to. I don't know, maybe I should, let me stop it and I'll do air fryer temperature and then I'll start it. Now let's see what that does. I think it'll be all right. I think it will just be just fine. I'm going to get a little powdered sugar out of there because it said that you could put some on there when you got done. Now I've got some strawberries over here that I bought at Kroger. And they don't look very good. Look at that. Isn't that ridiculous? But I'm going to get me a little knife and slice up a few of those just in case that I might want some on my French toast. How about that? I've already washed them, don't worry. Do not worry. And I'm just going to cut the tops off of these. We used to have a little chipmunk out on the back porch, and I would put these little strawberry drippings out for him. I don't know if he's out there anymore. Now, I don't know how long we're going to cook this. We're just going to give it a shot and just see what goes on. But that one doesn't look very good. You know, when you're at the grocery store, do you ever see something and you think, I'm not going to use that? You think, well, that looks so good. I'm going to take that home and I'm going to make this, this, and this. Anybody do that but me? Then when you get home, you think, why did I get that? I'm not going to make that. Like a big piece of meat or something like that. I don't know why we do that. But I know that a lot of you like to cook. I've got friends that like to cook. But with my husband being gone, I even like to cook less than I did before, except it seems like I'm cooking a lot. Hey, the other day I told him, I leaned over, I was at the nursing home, I leaned over and I said, just one little word of warning. I said, when you come home, don't think I'm going to start cooking. And he kind of laughed and he said, I don't care what we have to eat. Now that one don't feel very good. So we're both on the same page there on the cooking deal, but now you know I'll have him something to eat. I'm not going to let the little guy starve. Oh my, this weekend, now I showed you the basketball schedule the other day. Hey, last night I watched NBA basketball, and I was kind of getting into that last season before the season was over, when my normal basketball games were over. And I watched the Timberwolves and New York. And just to tell you the truth, I went to bed the last few minutes. I don't even really know who won, but I got to watch Rob Dillingham, who used to play for Kentucky, Julius Randle, he played for Kentucky, Karl Anthony Towns. Do any of you know them? That looks like a bad place in there. Anybody know any of those basketball players? But I didn't even have to watch football last night because there was that basketball game on it. I loved it. Anyway, each year before the season starts, Kentucky, the University of Kentucky has Big Blue Madness. They only sell so many tickets, and I don't know how many it is. I'm sure it's thousands. And they said this year that those tickets sold out in 29 minutes. Of course, they sold them online. So I asked my girl one day, I said, did you get tickets to go to Big Blue Madness? And she said, no. No way, because they sold so quickly. Hey, I better check this. I'm going to turn them, oh, you know what? I think we might have a winner here. I'm going to turn them over and we'll cook them a little more. Because, see, I put some butter down there in the bottom of this. I think we may have hit the jackpot, guys. Hey! Boy, if we have. Alright, I'm going to put that back in there. Let's see, that cooked about 4 minutes. We'll let that cook a little bit more. Meanwhile, I'm going to put a little sugar on the strawberries. Alright. Back to Big Blue Madness. I'm sure those strawberries are sour as they can be. She didn't, you know, there was no way she said she would have got a ticket. So, she FaceTimed me like Wednesday. because she knows, you know, what a big fan I am. And she said, Mom, guess what? I've got tickets to go to Big Blue Madness. Now, that's when they introduce all the new basketball players, men and women. And I mean, it's on TV. It's on SEC Plus, I think, Saturday night at maybe 5 o'clock Central Time. So if you want to see something exciting, I advise you, look at those. They look pretty. I thought they would be good on there. We'll see. We'll see. So enough of that. Now, you know, as you can tell, I like things sweet. Oh, and also I wanted to mention, let me taste them. I'm not sure if they're good or not. I think they are. Hey, I guess you're tired of looking at my stomach. Let's see, that's just been 1 minute. No, it needs a little more. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah. You remember my bees out here at the garage? Someone said they would never kill a bee. And I want to just say that, you know, I don't go around killing insects because I know they all have a very important job to do. The only reason that I have been trying to get rid of these is because it's right where I walk to get in my car. And I mean, if those things sting you, they're not just fooling around. They can just attack you. So I'm just trying to get them to get out of my garage. I don't want them there. I did watch a little interesting video this morning on goldenrod. Now, I don't know if they have goldenrod everywhere, but in Kentucky, that's one of the big flowers that just grows wild, goldenrod. And they were telling how helpful they are for different things. If you have a wound, if you have like a cut on you or something like that, that you can make a poultice and put on your arm, and how healing that is, that you can make goldenrod tea. It's really good for poison ivy. I wouldn't drink goldenrod tea if it had Diet Coke in it. And I'm not suggesting you do it, but if you want to try it, have at it. But look it up, goldenrod. First of all, if you don't live in Kentucky and you don't have goldenrod, forget it. Hush. That's just beeping over nothing. But it was pretty interesting to watch. That guy was out in the field and he was gathering all these goldenrod leaves and then the goldenrod flower. He said, be careful because the bees love them. And you might get stung, which that's what I would do. You know, I used to get stung as a kid all the time, and I never had any reaction at all. And in 1971, and how I know that year, which it don't make any difference, but I got stung on the foot in 1971, and I had an allergic reaction. So, you know, you can get an allergic reaction anytime. It doesn't mean if you get stung once and you're not allergic that you won't be the next time. And I don't know what that does, but so many people have to carry around those EpiPens and be prepared if they get stung. Let's see what this thing is doing now. You know, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to just pop it out here and just let you see what a genius I am. We will. Now look at that. Look here. Oh my goodness. Look here. Doesn't that look good? And then, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just get a little spoon here and a little of this powdered sugar, and I'm going to just sprinkle it over. Yummy! Now, if that won't make you hungry, I don't know what will. And I have maple syrup, and I have some strawberries. I'm going to put a few strawberries on them. What do you think about that? Debbie's Cooking Show. Now, I'm getting off here because you know what? I'm going to reap the benefits of my hard work. So if you think you'd like to try them, just have at it and you'll love it. And I hope you have a great day. And the secret garden, oh my goodness, it is so exciting. And I meant to apologize the other night because I looked so pitiful when I was sitting on the couch and I had on just an old shirt I wear around the house, and the collar was all drained. I looked like I was 90. Hey, I'm not going to say 92 because Grandma Lois looks like $1 million. I looked 102. But it was still a good story, so maybe you listened and didn't look at me. But I hope to see you on Monday. So have a great weekend. Be nice. Remember all of our prayer requests, and hoping to hear some good news from some of you that have been feeling bad. So, hey, I'll see you soon, okay? Bye-bye.